Hi there, my name's Steve Cornwell. I'm on the advisory board of IAFOR, and we're here today with Mike Griffin, a teacher educator from Seoul, Korea. Mike does many things. I'm especially happy to be interviewing him as we teach together in an online master's program for the New School out of New York City. But Mike has done a lot of things. Mike, it's really good for you to be here. I'm really happy to see you. I know from Ted O'Neill, the conference chair, that you do a lot of tweeting. Does that make you a tweeter? What's the
Tweeter?
noun? Tweeter's
Tweeter,
okay?
good.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that. That's something I've never really gotten into, but a lot of my friends tweet regularly. So can you tell us how you got into it and also how it's connected to education?
Sure. I got into it in 2011 from advice from Chuck Sandy at a MATESOL presentation, and he suggested try it, try it out. And I was a little bit cynical about it, but I gave it a try for a month, and I was able to connect with teachers all around the world.
Wow. Okay.
Facing similar problems, different problems, and also I learned a lot about different contexts and things like that.
Do you have a lot of followers?
Maybe so. I'm not sure if it's polite to say.
Well, how many do you have? Come on, you can tell us.
Maybe over 2,000.
Wow, I'd say that's quite a few followers. So good.
It's not quite Justin Bieber territory.
No, but still. Can you tell us a little about your background? I know we met when you were a grad student at the New School back in, was it 2008?
2008,
Okay.
fall 2008.
Tell us a little bit more about your background.
Okay, so I work at Chung-Ang University in Seoul, and I teach in the International Studies department, and I teach graduate students in International Studies and future interpreters as well.
Oh, wow.
And I also teach on the New School with you.
Yes.
In teaching curriculum development, and I'm also an SIT teacher trainer.
Okay, great. And I have a background with SIT. SIT is School for International Training, for any viewers that are not familiar with that. Interpreting, does that mean your Korean is really good, or?
It does not mean that.
Okay.
It means my English is very good.
Okay.
And my familiarity with speeches and sort of the rhetorical devices of English speeches. So my students interpret from Korean to English.
Sure, yeah.
And I just give feedback on the English performance.
Okay. Do they have certain areas they're specializing in, like business or medical interpreting, or is it just a general?
In the program that I'm in, there's a little bit of a focus on politics, economics, and nuclear things, with North Korea being an issue as well.
Okay, I can see that. Switching topics a little, I know you've been involved with Korea TESOL, co-TESOL, doing stuff with their conferences and planning. Do you have anything in the works and in the future with them?
Thank you, great question.
Yeah.
I'm helping co-plan a mini conference on August 22nd for the Reflective Practice Special Interest Group. And Tom Farrell is going to come over from Japan, from Canada, and we're very happy about that. So it should be a good day. It'll be interesting for me to be on the other side rather than presenting, to really be on the planning side.
Great. Tom Farrell was at the JOLT conference last fall, and it really was a big hit. So I'm sure he'll be a hit in your conference as well. I understand this is your first IAFOR conference. Can you talk to us a little bit about the experience? I know you gave your featured speaker talk. Any comments on how it went, and also what you've seen so far? It's the first day of the conference, so we have a lot more coming, but so far, how do you feel?
The reputation that I heard before of IAFOR was that it was very friendly, and I think that's proving to be true. People are very nice and happy to have a chat here and there and talk about different things. So that's one sort of key impression so far. And I'm also really impressed with the variety of talks, kind of matching some of my various interests. I saw a talk about world English is, and
Okay.
another talk about teacher beliefs and
Okay.
teacher training things. So it's nice to see such a wide variety of talks.
Oh, great, great. So tell us a little bit about what your featured speech was about.
I mostly just talked about some of my experiences and some things I've seen about how foreign English teachers in South Korea talk about teaching. And to be honest, I wasn't so positive about things. I kind of highlighted some interactions in Facebook group discussions that I thought were maybe not so productive. And I tried to talk about my experiences as well when I first started teaching about not so productive conversations or lack of conversations.
Could you give us one example of what a not productive conversation
Sure.
is?
Someone might ask a question about, hey, tomorrow I'm planning a class on past tense verbs, for example, and then people might respond and say, and sort of critique their choices of content and critique their choices of asking that question there. How dare you ask that question? You're supposed to be a professor. You're supposed to be a
Okay.
professional. And I think it really ties into a lot about identity
Sure.
and sort of teachers not wanting to be mixed in with the bad teachers, with the unprofessional teachers, with the unprepared teachers.
Mhm.
So people kind of, to my mind, flex their muscles or show that they're not part of that unprepared, unprofessional
Okay.
group.
So a lot of it was about the reactions to basically innocent questions, someone seeking help, and then the reaction being more about the question rather than trying to help the answer.
Exactly.
How did the audience respond, do you think?
There was a lot of laughter.
Okay. That's good, I guess. Yeah.
Hopefully no tears.
Okay.
So I got some nice feedback from people saying that it was useful for them, even though they're in a totally different context, because
Okay.
they could see themselves in those situations.
Sure.
And some other people told me that they had lived that exact experience that I described. I'm not sure if that'll change things for the better, but
I wonder, were they on the asking side or the answering side?
just the whole thing maybe
Okay.
of my experiences when I first started teaching.
Sure. Let me ask you a different question. You mentioned earlier that you do some teacher training for SIT. What's some of the experiences you've had with that?
For the most part, it's been just in Korea
Mhm.
with public school teachers, Korean public school teachers,
Okay.
on a 1-month course or sometimes longer. I've also done some teacher training, or rather trainer training courses
Okay.
with Korean public school teachers. The idea is to help them become better mentors or resources
Sure.
in their schools. So that was a really interesting and a great learning experience for me to put on this other cap rather
Sure.
than just a trainer or just a teacher. And I shouldn't
Okay.
say just a teacher, but
yeah.
to kind of think on this other level of how can we train people to be trainers.
When you do the training, you're usually working with another trainer, is that correct? Yeah. How's that give and take? How does that go? How's the collaboration?
It's been really wonderful, and I think that sort of speaks to my topic today. I was really spoiled in my experiences
Sure.
there
Yeah.
because the teacher training community that I participated in is really well qualified and passionate and this kind of thing. So outside of that community, I felt a little bit surprised when I worked with
Okay, that makes sense.
other people. So it was a really great experience. It's been a really great experience.
Do the trainers come from abroad, or are a lot of them based in Korea also?
It's a mix.
Mix, okay, great. Mike, it's really been great talking to you. Sounds like you're doing so much. The SIT work, the reflective practice SIG, your work at your university. Again, really, it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thanks so much. The pleasure's been all mine.
And thank you for joining us. I'd like to invite you to log on to IAFOR.org and see more about our featured speakers and upcoming conferences. Thanks again.